Nick, and I'm 14.
I'm Joe, I'm 17.
Kevin, 19.
But it's cool, 'cause we're just
Fans.
oh yeah. Oh, just
Fans.
we used to be just
Fans.
I feel very lucky to be a Jonas Brother.
Hey, you guys, welcome to the We're Just Fans podcast, a podcast hosted by an '06 Jonas Brothers fan who simply became a fan of their song, Mandy, and I feel like I just messed up that introduction, but basically I became a fan of them because of their song, Mandy. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Long time no see. I'm gonna be frankly honest with you guys. I feel like I've moved this podcast to a bi-weekly schedule for the time being because mental health, and also because I just think weekly is a little too much for me right now. So we're gonna roll this out bi-weekly and try to move to a every week schedule, but we'll see how that goes. Hey, you guys, so welcome. How are you guys doing today? I am doing bleh. But you know what we're going to get to do? My favorite thing in the whole entire world every Monday is to film a podcast episode about the Jonas Brothers. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the We're Just Fans podcast. All right, so a lot has happened, and let's get into it, okay? First things first is, and I'm looking at it on my phone, Music for People Who Believe in Love was pushed back. Now, what do we know? So basically, this album was expected to be released this month, I think on the 18th of October, but it was said to be pushed back. And there's a lot of fan conspiracy theory on why the album was pushed back. One person said this, because we did get another single from the album, was that they think that because Work It Out did not do as well as Joe hoped it would do, that he wanted to roll back the album, drop another single, and see how it does. See if, like, basically, in a sense, if this would basically help, you know, if it would, like, basically do better, you know? And, that's one of the things that I thought about, too, was, like, what if, because you know how Fast Life went, right? We was there for the Fast Life era, but if you watched Joe talking about the Fast Life era, I'll probably try to insert a clip in between somewhere here where Joe was talking about the Fast Life era and how depressed and disappointed he was that it didn't do as well and it didn't receive a lot of support.
Number 8. Joe feels like his solo career was a failure. Following years of chart-topping albums and international success as a member of the Jonas Brothers, Joe Jonas attempted a solo career.
And I was really trying to prove myself, probably to my brothers, but to everyone out there, that I can do it without Kevin and Nick.
His debut album, Fast Life, peaked at number 15 on the Billboard 200 chart, but only managed to sell 40,000 copies. In Chasing Happiness, the middle Jonas brother discusses how this affected him and reveals he was disappointed with the album's overall performance.
My mind's at the time, like, it was my first failure. I think it was really tough for me because I felt like I can't do anything without my brothers. Like, it was embarrassing.
So I don't want Joe to feel like this is going to be another Fast Life era 2.0, and I don't want him to feel like he's not going to be able to. He's really good. And I saw this funny video earlier where it was like, check out my new favorite indie artist that just dropped. He just came out. His name is Joe Jonas. And I'm like, indie artist? This man is definitely not an indie artist. This man is at most, I thought I could push his shirt down more, but this man is at most relevant. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Joe pushed back the album. I do think part of how Work It Out did chart wise and things like that might have played a position role into it, because while we love the boys and we know they do everything for the fans and things like that, that can sometimes be debatable, but we know for the most part they do this because they love the fans, and they wouldn't be here they wouldn't be here without us, and they know that. So everything they do is kind of with the mindset of the fans in mind for the most part. But again, it's like, you can't expect an artist to not feel just a little bit disappointed when their song doesn't do as well. And his second single, What Could This Be, did drop, and that song has actually been going viral on TikTok and stuff. So I honestly think this single is really good. I got a chance to listen to it. It was really good, and I loved it. I think it's really good, and it's such a great song because it talks kind of like about the risk taking and falling in love. Like, what could this be? Like, what could this be? What are the possibilities? It's like knowing you could get hurt, but still wanting to try, you know. And this song has been going viral, like I said, since the last podcast. I said it went viral with people doing what's in my camera roll videos, and that's kind of how it popped off on TikTok. But a lot of people were, not a lot of people, but some people were definitely mad that the album got rolled back. I think mainly because a lot of fans were like, we get effed over by the Jonas Brothers so many times. Oh my God. Like, where's the, what is that goddamn book called? It's a book. Let me go on to the TikTok, Twitter, and see what that Jonas Brothers book was called. Blood. What happened to Blood? Baby, what happened to Blood? Like, these boys know that they know that in the past, they've definitely been a little flaky with us with certain things, pushing things back. Like, Blood's been pushed back how many times? And did y'all pre-orders get refunded? I don't know, because the word around the street is they didn't. But y'all ain't hear that from me though. But anyways, yeah, there's times where we've been definitely effed over by the Jonas Brothers, and I love them. But let's be freaking for real. Let's put our thinking caps on. Let's hop out the biases aside. There are some times where I'm like, what the hell? Like, what the actual hell? But I think all in all, even though we have our like concerns and our quims about, you know, how the boys do stuff, I do think we have to trust Joe in the process on why he's pushing back his album, because I don't think Joe is just genuinely like doing this because he wants to. I think more so it's on a point of like, maybe he does have, because there was a picture of Joe, which I can put up here when I find it, basically of Joe going back and recording some stuff. That was like when everybody thought like, yeah, he's adding more to the album. And then he said he was pushing it back. So I don't know if it was officially said that was pushed back, but I know that the date that it was supposed to be released got dropped from the website. So it's a mystery on when this album is going to be dropped, but it does look like Joe is going to probably be working in it, putting some more finished touch on it, because he really wants it to be good. And I think Joe really wants to prove himself after how the Fast Life era went, because for Nick, I think his solo eras did really, I ain't gonna say they did like spectacularly commercially successful, but he had the more upper hand successful career solo wise than Joe did. And this is not me because I'm a Nick girl being biased or anything like that. I'm just saying what it is. Like, I think Nick's solo career did a little bit better than Joe's, and that's not to say that that's what should have happened, but that's what did happen. And it just sucks because it's like Joe's solo music was good. He was giving y'all R&B. And y'all failed him. Like, there was some good gems on there, and I am gonna definitely talk a little bit later on the podcast about how I'm gonna be doing album deep dives, and I definitely want to extend them to Solo Joe and DNCE, but I'm definitely gonna do one on that Solo Joe album, because Fast Life was really good, and y'all need to revisit that album. If you have not revisited it in a minute, go revisit it, because it was literally a bop and a half, not even a bop and a half, a whole bop. That album, like, chef's kiss. My favorite one is Justin Love. That one's, like, so good. But one that I think on the album that is not as popular as it should be, but should be, Make You Mine. Is it Make You Mine? I like a lot of songs on there. Kleptomaniac. Like, that album just, he did his thing. And he was working with some really dope people and stuff like that. Like, that album just deserved so much better. Like, I get Joe girls when they're screaming justice for Fast Life, because I feel y'all, boo. I feel y'all. So, yeah. So, what else popped up, too, regarding the album was that it was also seen on some, like, I don't know if it was, okay, so the orders. So, people that pre-ordered the album, and I don't know if this includes the album merch, because I think people may have gotten the album merch. I'm not sure. but people that I think pre-ordered the album had said that they seen where the date was all the way to next year of 2025, which is probably most likely just a placeholder date, which basically means that they're just putting this date here and saying, this is going to be the possible date for this album. But check back, because it basically says that this might be the date for the album. So I was basically just talking about how, and this is basically a placeholder date, which basically means, because on the website it says that we could get this sooner than that. So it does feel like Joe is just taking his time to refix up the album, retouch it up. Do I think that Joe, in a sense, is doing this because Work It Out didn't do how he wanted it to do? Maybe, but I also think that maybe Joe just got inspired and wanted to write some more stuff. But I hope they don't keep pushing this album back more and more, because everybody's already starting to compare it to the Blood Book, and I don't think Joe's gonna have it be like the Blood Book. But again, when the Blood Book kept getting pushed back, what did we also say? Like, oh, maybe the boys are adding more to the Blood Book. Things are changing now. But I feel like we're never getting that Blood Book, and they never mention it again. So I hope that everybody that pre-ordered that book, get your coins back. I want your money back in your pocket, because at this point, you're withholding money that for a book that's never going to come. So we did say what this could be dropped. Really great single. Like I said, this is definitely a polar opposite to his Fast Life era, which gives like Hojo, and the Club, One Night Stand, Joe Jonas, and this is like healed parenting. I'm in my healed era. I'm a dad. I'm parenting. I'm in my 30s now. I done lived a bit of life. So now let me tell you where I'm at. I'm in my healing journey. I'm relearning things and unlearning things. And I think that's going to be such a great album for a lot of us, because I feel like a lot of us that grew up with the boys, we're in our healing era too. We're in our journeys where we're figuring out life and we're trying to figure out where we fit in this world. And I think this is going to be a great album, because I already know that, one, Work It Out really was relatable. But two, so was that, what is that song called? I know I just talked to somebody about it. Let me go look at it in my DMs real quick for the name. Let me go back, because I was looking at the name of the book, and now I realized the name of the book. So the name of the song is called, I forgot. It was mentioned in the chats when we was doing the, What Could This Be streaming thing with, Aurora. The song, I forgot what it's called, but, be my own best friend, or be your own best friend, something like that. I always call it the Man on the Moon song, because I can't remember the names right now. I'm sorry, like I'm shooting blanks. But that album's gonna be a chef's kiss. That's another song that I'm excited about, because the song just hits. Like it hits like grits. Okay, so there are 5 shows left. Can you believe there are 5 shows left? I can't. I remembered when the dates were dropped. I remember thinking it was going to do another Vegas residency, and I was willing to spend my coins. I was like, okay, I'm not playing around this time. I got to get to a Vegas residency. And thankfully they dropped the tour dates, which is really cool. And I went to one show last year. Could not afford to travel the world like some of you guys, but I'm happy for you guys. So there are 5 shows left. That's insane. I'm gonna try by the next episode, hopefully, because I kind of think what I was thinking about this on the way home from work on the bus was that I want to wait until all of the covers have been done, like wait till all the shows are done, and then we can talk about the covers either in a separate episode or make it in an episode discussing the tour as a whole, because I feel like I want to make sure I have all the covers at once, because the tour is about to end. It would make more sense to just go ahead and talk about the songs as a whole, as a unit, all together at once the tour is over. So yeah, there's 5 shows left. It's so much has happened. I tweeted on my Melanie Jonas fan club account about how this tour has really been a roller coaster, pun intended, because of like the pushing back the shows for the special projects, which those were debatable. They were good projects, but people were like, we could have waited for that. Like, are you kidding me? Then the coming late and pushing and skipping songs, like no. I kind of want to do an episode where we kind of do like where I kind of talk about like the tour hot takes, like just some things I liked and didn't like about the tour. But I feel like I don't want to spread negativity. That's never me. But that tour was really good. I just think that some of the things that happened in between this tour could have been done a lot better, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, there are 5 shows left. I also kind of want to I saw an Elvis podcast do this, and I thought it was really cool when it was like the 2-year anniversary of the Elvis movie. I thought it'd be really cool if maybe I get a bunch of fans to like, voice message like one special thing they loved about the tour, like what was your the tour memory, and then I can edit that up to some like music and whatever. It'd be really fun, and I can post it to YouTube visually, and then you guys will hear it audio I was gonna say audioly, but is that even a word? But you can hear the audio version here. But make sure you guys are watching me on YouTube too. Make sure you're also listening to me here. I'm visually on YouTube and audio wise on Spotify. I should be trying to get my podcast on Apple Music, but it's so tricky and confusing now. It's going to take me a minute. Also, I know I owe you guys the voice message box. I can't figure out how to get that back up there. Once, like, Spotify merged with, what is it called? I've been using this platform since maybe like 2021 to do podcasting, and it's so free. You don't have to pay to do it. So let me look it up. Spotify for podcasters. Okay, here we go. I'm wondering if it'll tell me what it was formerly called, because I'm trying to figure out what it was formerly called. Oh, here we go. Anchor by Spotify. It was Anchor by Spotify, but it was Anchor. That was the original platform that I started off when I did my Justin Bieber podcast, and it was easy to understand there. I got the ropes of it pretty well, but now they immersed it into Spotify for podcasters, and it's so confusing. Like, it's not the same. So that definitely is one of my that's what we would, and I know I'm putting this on the Spotify platform. I'm not bashing y'all. I'm just saying make it a little easier. Where is the tutorials? Because I'm confused. But yeah, when I used to do it on there, it was easy to just get the voice memo box. And now I don't see it anymore. So maybe I have to go to another platform. And then lastly, deep dives are coming. I listened to another podcast called To Pop the Handle and one called Talk Miley to Me. One's a pop culture podcast, and then another one's like a Miley Cyrus fan podcast. The Miley Cyrus fan podcast is what really got me interested in doing them, but Andrew Nicotola at the To Pop the Handle podcast, he does one, and he does them for like the albums now, and they're so good. I'm such a music lover. I love music. I'm a music lover, so I love digging and diving deep into music. So I want to do one, but I'm going to go in order, just like how Miley Cyrus fan podcast, they do it. They go in order. We should go in order. But yeah, I definitely want to do a deep dive into their albums and their music and things like that. That is definitely on my bucket list to do. I feel like I talked over the time in which it's visually, so I'm going to stop here and pick back up. I want to make sure that we're visual for the most part of the podcast, so I have to stop, pick back up. But basically, I want to do that, starting off with It's About Time, going all the way to the album, unless we get another album by the time I get finished with these. But they do take time. I realized how much work it is to do a deep dive for an album. And I thought this would be something that I could easily do, but it is going to take me time to do it. But that doesn't mean you guys are going to be sitting here podcastless until I get them done. I'm going to take my time, and while in between, run some podcasts for you guys. I honestly hate when I miss a Sunday, but I just like, it's getting overwhelming, and I'm trying to find a pace that works for me to get these podcasts up. And bi-weekly has been my best job. And yes, it is like literally, what time is it? It's literally 8:38 at night. It is dark outside. There is no sun outside. So I got like if you want to count like the lamp in two pieces, the one over here that's like two, like the dorm lamp and the tall lamp as two. You can count that as two, but I got at least 4 to 5 lamps going on me right now. Ring light, lamp, and 2 light bulbs coming from the lamp. And if you want to go technical with 6, I got the light bulbs over here put into the ceiling, which I talked about that in the last podcast. I made sure to put, oh my God, this thing is so out of storage that visually this last part is not recording, but I'm going to just continue on and wrap it up. I will have this fixed by next podcast. I promise y'all we'll get this together and have it fixed, because I'm already like, 5 episodes in and I'm having issues? Like, fuck me. But anyways, thank you guys for listening to this podcast. This is the We're Just Fans podcast, hosted by an 06 Jonas fan who simply became a fan of their song Mandy. And yeah, I'm still here. It's 2024, bitches. Let's go. All right, bye. Mwah.